Welcome back. We're just 2 months out now from the first presidential nominating contest, and the latest Quinnipiac poll shows Donald getting a bump nationally as Ben Carson fades. The real estate mogul remains the undisputed leader, surging to 27% since last month. Florida Senator Marco Rubio now sits in second place with 17%, replacing Ben Carson, who plummets 6 points to third. Ted Cruz is tied with Carson at 16%, while Jeb Bush remains in the middle of the pack with 5%. Charlie, you seem to be coming to Donald Trump's defense in the top of the hour.
I saw.
You think he's going to hold here?
I saw Donald at the debate. By the way, you did a great job at the
Thank you.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Donald hugged me and said, "I love you, but I want to kill you sometimes." So, I go back and forth with him. I will say this. I don't think 27% is quite a surge now. I mean, he was up, he had 22, 23%. Now he's at 27. If you notice, his numbers are stuck in that 20 to 30% range. He hasn't really broken out of that. But, one thing he has shown, and I'll tell you, we all have to give him credit here, he's the best retail politician out of all of them. He plays by his own rules. I mean, usually the media, when you say something stupid, the media outs you and shames you to death. It doesn't work with him.
Do you think he's surprised at where he's at, Charlie?
A friend of mine met him and told me that when he met him, and this was about a month ago, they started talking about the race, and do you ever think he'd get there? And a friend of mine said that he suggested that he can't believe that that this happened. I always thought this was a branding thing, and I think that's where it began. Like, Donald just wanted to take his image and his brand to another level, and then he woke up one day and said, "Holy crap, I'm number one. What do I do?"
He wakes up this morning, and again, he's number one, and he's sure to tout that because he does tout these polls often. Does this stick, or does somebody still have a big run to make? Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz.
From the beginning, before he even announced his candidacy, everyone said the honeymoon wouldn't last. But here he is, at poll after poll, he's still maintaining this momentum. And I don't know that he's going to go much higher. And I think part of this number right now has to do with Carson fading a little bit. But you have to realize, Carson is in third place. He's tied with Ted Cruz. And I think that's actually a bigger story. The fact that Rubio's at 17, and in this poll, Carson and Cruz are at 16. I mean, they are so close, and I'm wondering, and I'm going to talk about it tonight on FBN, whether or not getting one of these guys out of the race, either Cruz or Rubio, somehow gives the other a lift, and if they're going to make a deal.
But I mean, the Ben Carson fade is that's a huge story because I mean, he surged to the top. It wasn't too long ago. To what do you attribute his
Sandra, it's a great point. It is a big story, and this polling was done before he made his comments about pro-lifers. So 2 days ago, Ben Carson said, look, both sides need to tamp down their rhetoric on abortion on the heels of Colorado. That did not sit well with pro-lifers. Why? Pro-lifers are very tempered down in their rhetoric. Actually, they don't use rhetoric. Their truths are based on reality, cold, hard facts. They go out of their way to do abortion counseling. I mean, an occasional kook here and there, yes, aside. But I think Carson really upset a movement that is tweaking the conscience of Americans. And then he tried to walk it back on the Kelly file, and he made it worse.
In some ways.
And I think this is going to hurt him. I think if you pull him in a week, I think you're going to see him slip even further. And I do think Trump will get more of those voters. But also, very quickly, something that happened, Sandra, too. I think that Jeb falling has helped Rubio. But Trump not falling has not really benefited.
Julie, get in here. What do you make of the field right now, the GOP field?
What's amazing to me, there was an article in the New York Times yesterday about how everybody in the GOP mainstream wants to stop Donald Trump, but they're all too afraid to do it on the record. You've got the Kochs.
They've been doing this for years.
Attacking him is not helping
it's not. But I mean, you have a senator, anonymous senator, saying, "My God, this is going to be Armageddon for our party, but I'm afraid to go on the record because I'm afraid of being attacked." This man has the entire Republican establishment cowed. When was the last time you ever saw that?
Lindsey Graham said that essentially on the record.
He's the only one that had the
Julie,
cojones to do that on the record.
We have to move on. 2 seconds. Can Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton?
Not according to any poll that I've seen, but
I've seen polls where he's.
Polls have been flipping all over the place. A month ago in this Quinnipiac poll, Hillary Clinton was being beaten by the entire Republican field except for Donald Trump, and now she's beating everyone in the same poll. So things can change vastly.
The question is, these people who are afraid to take him on the record, are they going to be staying at home How are they going to be voting? I don't know that they're going to be voting for Donald Trump.
That's what remains to be seen.
Yep.
That's the ultimate question. Do these poll numbers, which, you know, I mean, they're a little dubious. Yeah, will they translate
the margin of error
to votes
are huge on these
in
polls
caucuses?
right now.
These polls are irrelevant.
We got to move on.
Primary. All right, very good. Meantime, in an effort to boost his flagging poll numbers, Jeb Bush beefing up his presence in New Hampshire. Today, he's launching a new $600,000 ad campaign in the Granite State. He's also expanding his full-time staff there from 12 to 20 people. Wow. And opening 4 new regional field offices. Bush insists he will win New Hampshire, despite Chris Christie's endorsement by the influential Union Leader newspaper. And just moments ago, the former Florida governor took on Donald Trump, the current frontrunner there. Listen to this.
Donald Trump's a really capable politician. He's just not qualified to be president. If you listen to him talk as it relates to ISIS or Syria, he's not a serious person. He gets his information from websites, I guess, and watches the shows on Sunday and spews out stuff that is so confusing. He's not qualified to be commander-in-chief and leader of the free world.
All right, very good. So, Andrea, I mean, you worked on Republican campaigns. You were, for the first part of your career, a Republican strategist. You sit Jeb Bush down. Is New Hampshire your big play?
If New Hampshire is the big play, you better think of a new play. I mean, that is not a likely state that is a natural fit for Jeb Bush to win.
Yeah.
It's a natural win for somebody like a Trump or a Christie, a state whose motto is live free or die. I mean, they are notoriously independent. Jeb is a notorious establishment candidate, and I just don't think it's in the cards. Also, anytime you hear a candidate say, I'm banking everything on one state, like Rudy Giuliani in Florida, now you have Jeb in New Hampshire, I think it gets to be dangerous. And I think that state, if Donald Trump can take New Hampshire and South Carolina, he's poised to be unstoppable.
I tell you, I think, you know, I talk to a lot of people on the Rubio side. They think they have this one from the establishment standpoint, that Jeb is just playing out the string. He's not going to win New Hampshire. It's hard to think of a state that he might win.
Florida.
Maybe. But other than that, the Republican Party has moved away from especially the grassroots, is so non-establishment right now. I wonder where he can win. By the way, New York, you would think New York is an establishment state. It's really not.
Well, no, but
conservatives that vote here are very conservative.
His last stand is actually Florida. If he loses Florida to Rubio, that's
too late, Julie. I mean, typically Florida comes too late in the nominating process to make it that big of a difference.
I mean, that's, you know, he's going to lose New Hampshire most likely, right? He's going to lose South Carolina. His last stand is in Florida. He's got enough money to go to Florida. He loses that. He loses that to Rubio. Rubio's taking off. He's going to go.
I have a feeling his Tuesdays are not going to be super, Sandra.
But what do you think about him changing his tactic here? Although he should have ditched the going after Donald Trump, because that is not proven. It's not working for him.
This
is no reality show.
People are incredibly frustrated right now. I could tell you an incident I had with one of his campaign people at the debate who didn't like something I said.
Maybe Charlie thought I said I would defer my time to him.
You know, Jeb looked in the green room, in the spin room, looked at people interviewing Trump, and said, "Screw this," and kept walking.
Are they as frustrated as your etiquette coach?
Why? What's wrong with my etiquette?
Nothing. I love you. New fallout in that Chicago police shooting just one day after Mayor Rahm Emanuel announced the firing of the city's police chief. New questions about the role politics may have played and the way the case has been handled as critics call for Emanuel to step down. Stay right here.